Oh, you want to play psycho killer? Can I be the helpless victim?
Cross your eyes and scream, man. Scream for your life.
Welcome, Scream Things. I'm your host, Jenica Olin. This is my 30th episode and my first episode in June. My theme for the month is June of the Dead. Zombie films often serve as grim mirrors, exposing the fragility of order and the thin veneer of morality. They ask, when the rules fall away, who are we really? Survivors of these stories are forced to confront not just the dead, but the living. People who may become even more dangerous when survival becomes the only law. At their core, zombie narratives are about transformation of individuals, of societies, of values. They strip the world down to its raw, most brutal form and force us to question whether humanity is something we carry within us or something we lose the moment everything else is gone. If you're new here, each episode will have an intro, brief synopsis of the movie, an analysis of the film, and then I get into the true horrors of it all. I'm a huge true crime fan, and I like to make connections between the true horrors that inspire our darkest imaginations. The truth is, the stuff on screen is way tamer than the true horrors that take place every day. Spoiler alert, I've made it my job to spoil the shit out of this movie. Today, I'm covering 28 Days Later, directed by Danny Boyle, written by Alex Garland, starring Cillian Murphy, Naomi Harris, and Christopher Eccleston. The estimated budget was $8 million, and the estimated gross was $84 million. The tagline for this film is, infected with what? Some quick trivia about this film. The scene when Major West reveals his plans for Hannah and Selena to Jim was written by Cillian Murphy, Christopher Eccleston, and Alex Garland the night before it was shot. A different scene had been scripted and shot, but no one was happy with it, especially the two actors. Christopher Eccleston and the other soldiers in the film did a 3-day training program with real soldiers to help them learn how to carry themselves believably. The shots of the jet flying overhead were shot by director Danny Boyle. During filming, Boyle took one of the Canon XL1s home and spent 2 days filming planes through the trees in his backyard. The word fuck is used 61 times in this movie. Body count? 14, possibly more. Let's set the scene with a synopsis of the movie. Late one night, British animal rights activists break into a laboratory to free chimpanzees being used for medical research, disregarding the warnings of a lab staffer. The activists ultimately free the rage virus subject, which attack the infected activists and scientists. The infection seems to spread very quickly, turning them into uncontrollable monsters in a matter of seconds. 28 days later, a bicycle courier named Jim awakens from a coma in a deserted hospital after he was treated for injuries he sustained on the job. As he leaves the hospital, he discovers London is completely deserted and ripe with signs of catastrophe. While he wanders the streets calling out for anyone who might still be around, he finds a church where a large group of people have gathered. He quickly discovers that the people are raging monsters who attack him. He's chased through the streets by the infected people before being rescued by 2 survivors, Selena and Mark, who rush him to their hideout in the London Underground, using explosive charges attached to gasoline pumps to cover their escape. They reveal that while Jim was comatose, the virus spread uncontrollably among the populace, turning most people into vicious murderers, the infected, and resulting in a societal collapse, possibly on a global scale. Jim insists on going to his parents' house. Though they think it's a bad idea, Selena and Mark accompany Jim. He discovers that his parents committed suicide. That night, several infected attack the survivors.
This is Dawn. They live 4 doors down.
Were you bitten? Did any of the blood get in your mouth?
And when the fight ends, Mark is bleeding from a nasty slash on his arm. Despite his pleas, Selena immediately hacks him to death with a machete, explaining to Jim that infection is spread through contact with contaminated blood and overwhelms its victims in seconds, rendering them deadly to others. She warns that should he become infected, she will kill him in a heartbeat. As the two journey through the derelict city the next day, they see Christmas lights blinking in a high-rise tenement and go to check it out. They then hear the sounds of approaching infected and race up the remainder of the stairs where a man in police riot gear directs them to his apartment and fends off the infected. Frank and his teenage daughter Hannah have holed up in their flat. Invited to spend the night, Selena and Jim privately debate whether they should remain with Frank and Hannah. Jim says they seem like good people, while Selena fears that they will slow them down, warning Jim that putting others ahead of his own survival is a sure way to be killed. The next morning, Frank informs Jim and Selena that supplies, particularly water, are dwindling. Frank also shows them a pre-recorded radio broadcast loop transmitted by soldiers near Manchester who claim to have the answer to infection. Frank tells Selena and Jim that he and Hannah need their help to get out of the city. The survivors board Frank's cab in search for the blockade and bond with one another during the trip. On their way out, they pass through a tunnel blocked by a pile of cars, and one of the cab's tires goes flat.
Fuck!
World's worst place to get a flat, huh?
Agreed. Think we better do this quick.
When they realize that a horde of infected are on their way, they frantically change the tire and race out. The group overnights in a pastoral area. Before they go to sleep, Jim sees that Selena is carrying a small stash of pills. She mostly uses them for sleep and to control anxiety she feels, but tells Jim she won't give them up. Selena's steely resolve begins to soften, while Jim's experiences on the trip begin to toughen him up. When the four reach the deserted blockade, Frank is infected by blood from a dripping corpse. Knowing that he's doomed, he harshly tells Hannah to stay away from him and becomes infected in seconds.
Dad, are you alright?
Yeah, I'm fine, sweetheart. Sorry I lost my temper. Hannah, I love you very much.
What?
Keep away from me. Stay where you are.
Dad?
Keep away from me!
Dad?
Keep away from me! Keep away from me! Keep away!
Nearly killing her. He's quickly shot by hiding soldiers, who then commandeer the cab and take Selena, Jim, and Hannah to a fortified mansion under the command of Major Henry West. As Hannah goes into shock, Selena and Jim reach out to each other romantically. Jim discovers that West's answer to infection involves waiting for the infected to starve to death, while giving hope for future community survival by forcing sexual servitude on the female survivors. Shocked, Jim attempts to escape with Selena and Hannah, but is captured by the soldiers, along with Sergeant Farrell, who disagrees with the Major's plan. While Jim and Farrell are in prison for the night, Farrell theorizes that there is no worldwide epidemic. The infection takes hold of its victims so rapidly that it would have been impossible for an infected to escape the British Isles, leading the rest of Europe and perhaps the world to impose a strict quarantine on the British Isles. The next day, as the two soldiers lead the prisoners into the woods to be executed, Selena and Hannah are trapped as the soldiers circle them. Selena asks to be left alone briefly with Hannah and prepare her. Selena tells Hannah she'll give her one of her sedatives so the experience will be less traumatic. While the two executioners fight about how to kill Farrell, Jim runs off. They run after him, However, Jim has hidden himself among a pile of corpses they were going to throw him and Pharrell upon. He observes the contrails of a jet aircraft flying high overhead and realizes that someone in the outside world is still functioning. After luring West and one of his men to the blockade, Jim runs back to the soldiers' headquarters where he unleashes Mailer, an infected soldier that West kept chained outside for observation. Mailer attacks the soldiers in the mansion, while Jim stealthily skulks around, killing a soldier and maneuvering around the growing number of infected. Selena, held hostage by the last uninfected soldier, is horrified when Jim, covered in blood, bursts into the room and savagely kills the soldier, leading her to believe that he may be infected. Raising her machete, she hesitates before striking. He quips, "That was longer than a heartbeat."
That was longer than a heartbeat.
Jim? And the two kiss passionately. Hannah finds them and the trio run to Frank's cab, only to encounter West, who shoots Jim in the stomach. Hannah commandeers the cab and throws West to the infected Mailer, then escapes with Jim and Selena. Selena and Hannah rush Jim into a deserted hospital, where Selena performs life-saving emergency procedures. A further 28 days pass, and Jim is shown waking up in recovery again, this time on one side of a double bed in a remote cottage. Downstairs, he finds Selena sewing when Hannah appears. The three rush outside to unfurl a large cloth banner, adding the final letter to the word, hello, laid out on the meadow as an approaching jet flies over. Across the landscape, the infected lie in the streets dying of starvation. After the jet zooms past the three waving survivors and their distress sign, Selena wonders aloud, do you think they saw us this time?
Do you think he saw us this time?
Now it's time to talk horror, and today my guest is Stephanie Martinez, and she, you have a website. Do you have your own business? How exactly does everything work that you do?
And just right now I joined a spooky community, and we're all just getting together and uniting and supporting one another. Business, I'll support them, they support me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm doing on my page.
Yeah.
And to cosplay with it too, having a little fun.
Yeah. Do you ever go to conventions or anything and have guest spots at conventions?
Oh, yes. I love conventions. It's a really great place to meet other people.
Yeah.
The next convention you can find me at will be Anime Expo.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm trying to get more into conventions and stuff and maybe start traveling out to some. It's a circuit that if I'm going to be doing the horror thing, I should be part of. And it's fun.
Most definitely. It's great exposure. Get other people to listen in and find out about your podcast.
So today we're here to talk about 28 Days Later. I love this movie. I remember watching it for the first time and just thinking that it was so different than any other zombie movie I had seen and really appreciating it, and then also falling in love with Cillian Murphy. And I just love that this movie opens up with a full frontal of him.
Definitely got me by surprise. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, no, it's a very benign shot. He's just waking up out of a coma. It's very anatomical. Nothing's sexy about it, but he is naked a lot in this movie, or at least shirtless.
Yes, he is.
He is such an attractive character, I think, because he's such a good person in this movie. I think he's a good person overall. I don't know him, but the character he plays is such a good person.
He is definitely, once you get towards the end, he really comes through and has a big heart. If anybody's seen it at the end, how he saves everybody, spoilers. Now, nobody would do that for just anyone. go out and kill everybody and save a group of people you just met.
Yeah, right? Like he cared a lot. And then his hair too, whenever like at the beginning of the movie before he cuts his hair, that's such an iconic like crazy hairstyle.
I
I'm
think that.
surprised it never caught on.
Oh yeah,
I thought it was kind of cute. It was like a half shaved thing.
yeah. I haven't seen that so much, and so seeing it on him, he rocked it.
He did. He did the half shaved and it was like long in the back, kind of short in the front. I don't know. It was really I don't know how he got that haircut while he was in a coma, but but it was good. It was a good one.
His nurses were probably like, you know what? Let's do this one last thing for him. Give him a cool haircut,
Yeah.
and let's evacuate.
Yeah. I think, yeah, they must have been like in the middle of giving him the haircut and then the zombies started coming and they couldn't finish it.
Yeah, they're like, you know what? We got dip.
Yeah. In this movie, like zombie movies are never just about zombies. It's about a collapse of like civilization and what is civilization? Like, is it a social construct or is it like if we take away all the infrastructure, like the structure of society, like what do we have left?
It definitely did collapse fast. There was no people, no one to keep order. They just lost everything.
28 days.
Yeah, it's crazy. It took 28 days for them to lose everything.
Yeah. And like so much so that everyone was just like ready to kill each other already. I feel like that was the fastest anyone in movies is like, let's just kill everyone and kill the zombies.
I think it also has to do with the culture and where it took place too.
Yeah.
If it was maybe in America, it wouldn't. It would be a lot more messier.
Yeah, I think maybe it has to do with like city versus rural as well. Like if you're out in the country somewhere, you probably have like a much higher chance of survival. Like they didn't seem so worried at the end when they were in like the little cottage. Like they seemed like they were fine.
It seemed like a lot safer area, and I
Hmm.
why they really had to leave the city. Too dangerous. No, there was nobody there else that could help them.
Hmm.
They just had to depend on themselves and depend on the strangers they just met.
And you have to put a lot of trust in the people that you just meet. And thankfully, he comes across.
Oh, Selena.
Yeah, Selena. She's such a badass. I love her.
She is really grew throughout this whole movie from being cold hearted
Mhm.
because like this is what she needs to do in order to survive, to protect herself.
Yeah.
And then seeing how
Hannah.
her father being
Hmm.
okay because they had each other, and then her seeing that, oh, everything will be okay. So the potential of her maybe finding love in him and
Yeah.
just character evolving.
Yeah, there was a lot of character development in this movie. And I think it's one of the things that made me love this movie so much. And it's one of the things that makes it so great because you see this, I mean, every single character had some kind of metamorphosis of a sort,
Yes.
whether that was for the good or the bad. You decide type thing, right?
Yeah.
Society, if this movie shows us anything, it's like how fragile society is and how quick we can go into chaos. It makes me very scared for if anything ever happened.
Especially how things are now.
Yeah, I'm like, please, we don't. I mean, it doesn't even have to be a zombie apocalypse, right? It could just be like, there are a lot of ways civilization can be destroyed.
It really can, especially with these scientists tampering with how things are, trying to understand. What was he saying? Like, to better understand.
Are you talking about with the monkeys?
Yeah, what the scientists thought. It was a really good quote.
One thing about that, like the whole opening scene with the monkeys too, And that was not a secure enough facility for how deadly those monkeys were. Are you kidding me? They were just like in this, but like a rectangular prism cage. And it took like one simple lock to let the thing out, and it was ravenous and infecting everyone within seconds.
That's crazy. And it just seems like that's something that could happen so easily. Like scientists think that they can control something like,
Mm-hmm.
and then it gets out of hand.
Yeah. Did you find the quote?
I don't think so. Hopefully I'll remember. It was a really good quote about,
Okay.
basically it was about like, in order to understand and fix something, they need to create it type of thing. I don't know if that's like the same thing that he was saying, but it was kind of along those lines.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. That is a form of logic, but I don't think that, if that's your logic whenever you're doing like scientific experimentation, you're just in there to fuck shit up.
Yeah.
Like, let me destroy this. I have to know how to destroy it first before I can know how to fix it. You can't always fix it.
Okay, I found another quote that
Okay.
scientist said. He says, "Just imagine to have power over all the things we feel we can't control, anger, violence."
Oh, yeah, and that's the whole thing of like the zombies are maybe not your typical zombie because maybe the virus is just not taking, but exasperating like the most savage part of you
Yeah,
type thing. So crazy.
like to use it, like a lot of like wars that we've had, it's over like example, like give me liberty, give me death. People get
Hmm.
rallied and they get angry, they get mad. And if we didn't have those emotions, a lot of those wars wouldn't happen. So if the government were to be able to control that, a lot of things wouldn't have happened.
This could be like, this is very much like biochemical warfare.
Yes.
Like if you wanted to just like fuck up a whole country, you can just drop off one infected monkey and then I mean they're on the whole other continent, right? Like so it's not going to affect you. Like they're over there. They're just everyone's going to end up killing each other over there. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah, and it's kind of like when that scene where they see the helicopter, they kind of
Mhm.
figure, oh, we are quarantined and the rest of the world is okay.
Yeah, there is hope with that. And it's a very like lighthearted moment. I'm really interested to see the new movie.
That's going to be like very highly anticipated.
Yes, and that's why I'm covering it partially, but also because I love it. So, yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of like the typical stuff that you would see in a zombie movie, like everything's deserted. I think things are looted a little bit less than in other movies. Like when you go into the grocery store and stuff, it looks pretty untouched.
I think that was intentional because they were trying to make it seem surreal. Like when he woke up, everything's just empty, and you just get this feeling of everything being surreal. Like when you have a nightmare
Mm-hmm.
and you don't know like what's real, what's not.
Yeah.
I think they were trying to make it intentionally look like it could be all a dream or he could be hallucinating.
Yeah. It like to me that showed like how fast the infection took. There weren't people around to loot still. Like there weren't enough people alive.
Because it seems like the virus spreads a lot more quicker. It can be saliva, can be through your eyes, like
Hmm.
any bodily fluid, a little cut, their blood on you,
Yeah.
opposed to like just biting you.
Hmm. Yeah. It spread really rapidly. And then it took what, like 30, they were like, you'll have like 30 seconds to kill the person before they turn.
Yeah, like Selena was saying, like if it happens to you, just know I'll do it right away. It doesn't matter a father, son.
Hmm.
It's fast. It's kill them or it gets you too.
Like one part that was striking too was when he wakes up in the hospital, and the hospital is definitely like you can tell there was chaos there. Things are, carts are like knocked over, everything's disheveled, and all the phones are off the hook, just like hanging there swinging. It's so creepy.
It is. Like, hospitals are just creepy in general, but just seeing that makes it even more creepier. Like, nobody's around, you don't know what's going on.
You know, it's funny. Like, I wonder if The Walking Dead ripped this off.
They definitely got inspired by it because it's a really good scene. Because even like the movie came out in 2002, I believe, and the comics came out a year later, 2003. So they most definitely got inspired by this movie.
The comics for The Walking Dead?
Dead, yeah.
Oh, okay. Lawsuit is going to happen now. Now, the next kind of theme I had in here was like community and kinship in a crisis, like how important it is to have familial bonds. And even if it's not familial, anyone that you're with becomes your family.
Really changes Selena because she was used to just having no feelings, just trying to do whatever it took to survive, keeping her heart cold. But then seeing the father and the daughter just having each other and that they're going to be okay and they are okay through this. They're seeing that, oh, I could, as long as I have love, I could be okay too. We're going to be okay.
Yeah. Like at first she's super guarded, and I don't know how long she was with that guy in the beginning of the movie. I don't remember his name, but I mean, she kills him pretty fast.
Yeah.
And Jim is like what the hell is happening? Why are you like he thinks he's next. And he's still like freaking out. He's like, those are my neighbors from like 2 doors down. And she's like, they're dead. They're all dead. Like, move on. If you get it too, you're also dead. Yeah, no processing time.
Yeah, just I think just spending time with him and just being around him, his good vibes, and just, I think her falling in love with him too as they get closer throughout the movies. It changed her because even when he saves her and he's angry, he can't really tell if he's also one of them because he's also filled with rage. But the difference between him and those zombies with rage is that he can come out of it.
Yeah.
Because he's filled with love for her.
He does. I mean, that's something we'll get into a little bit further on. But yeah, that is such like the parallels between him and the zombie creatures is the writer did such a good job. The director did such a good job with that, capturing that.
Yeah.
So we've got Jim, Selena, Frank, and Hannah, and they have like their makeshift family unit, and their cooperation and care for one another show how these relationships are like essential for our survival. And Jim actually calls Frank dad when he wakes him up when he's having a nightmare. They're like sleeping in the cave. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
He says thanks dad because he like wakes him up and he's like you're just having a nightmare and he's like thanks dad. It was so sweet.
That was
because he had to find like his parents had committed suicide.
Yeah, that was so sad. Them doing that with the message on the back of the picture, hoping that he wouldn't wake up. That was sad.
It was so sweet that they were like holding the picture, but it was also like I guess that was their suicide note to him, which is really sad. Yeah, it was sad. It was a very sad moment.
I wonder if they ever thought there was a chance that he could wake up.
I think they had to have thought there was a chance because they put the note, but I think they were just like hoping he wouldn't.
After that little sad part, we do get like a very like comical scene with the car stalling.
They have like a really great balance between some heavy themes and topics and like exploring these raw emotions and then being lighthearted. Like even the music, whenever they're in the car, whenever it's like Selena, Frank, Hannah, and Jim, and they're in the car and they're going over all the other cars, it almost is like they're on a roller coaster and the music gets really excited and they're like laughing and at first they were like really scared, but then as they go on, they're just like embracing it and having fun, and it's a really cute moment.
It was because at first when they first see what they had to go through, I was like, oh no, something's gonna go wrong if they try to go over that. I don't know if the car's gonna make it, but they did.
They did. And there was a funny moment too between that scene and then the ending scene when Hannah, the daughter, is driving the car into the gate. It's kind of like a parallel between her and her
Yeah.
dad. I can't remember what they say, but I think Selena's like, "Oh no, what are we gonna do?" And then Jim's like, "Just go for it," and she's like, "I'm going for it," and it's just exactly that kind of moment again. It was very cute.
Yeah, she waited to do something like that. She got her moment.
She did. And it was like, again, like sparks were flying there. And then they have like this shot where the cinematography in this is so great. There's a shot where they're in the back seat and they like go forward, but then it kind of freezes on them and cuts. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
It's just like it's showing they're having fun again. They're like almost like in the back of the car when they were going over all the other cars, and it kind of felt like they were on a roller coaster.
Yeah, those were good moments. It like balances out with everything else that's going on in the movie.
Another parallel, like what you were saying with Selena, how she was so shut off in the beginning, like they were in that small apartment, and Selena's like, they need me, they need us more than we need them, and everything. And, Frank heard her and he kind of confronts her with it. And then Hannah even comes out and she's like, you need us too. She is another really like the women in this are so strong. They're such strong figures.
They really are, and they really showed it throughout the movie. And she's just kick ass.
Like emotional strength is more important than physical strength, I think.
It is because you need it to survive, especially when she killed her first friend. Like, she didn't even think twice about it because that's how she had to be. I don't know. I don't think I could do that.
I don't know either. I hope I never have to find out. Humanity is explored in this movie with like humanity versus inhumane actions. And like the inhumane actions aren't always by the zombies. The humans that are still left are pretty fucked as well.
Especially those soldiers. They're the ones who are supposed to be protecting them, and that took a turn for the worst.
Yeah.
It was basically like when they first got there, like it was like children playing with guns.
Yeah. Oh my God. They're like wrestling with each other. They're like a bunch of little kids. Just and then they've got the one guy that's like chained up by his neck and they're just using him as like a science experiment and they think it's funny. And why they would put all those white sheets up, like when I was rewatching this, I was like, why would you do that? That is so creepy. It makes for such a good haunted house.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You even see him behind the sheet.
Yeah, but like if you had control of that situation, I would not have those sheets hanging up like that.
Yeah, I would want it to be like empty so I can get a good look at them.
It was so creepy. Yeah, so Major West and his soldiers promise safety, and they have like this recording that's going out on repeat. They have like the coordinates for people to go to and everything. And I don't know how many people actually get over there. I think it's only like 10 of them or something.
But they put out this recording with the intention of hoping to get women.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where things go dark because they're trying to repopulate the world themselves by raping women.
Yeah. You don't even know what the rest of the world looks like. You really think that you are going to be the ones that repopulate it?
And then they don't even think twice about Hannah, a minor, a kid. Selena had to do to protect her.
Yeah.
With the drug.
Yeah. I have a bunch of notes about that. But like, I mean, and there's no way. Like they weren't just trying to repopulate. They were straight up like they made them dress up. What in the Beauty and the Beast hell is this? Just go, girls, gotta put on a nice dress, gotta look nice for us so that we can rape you.
Yeah, they weren't trying to repopulate. They just wanted to have fun.
Yeah.
At the expense of women.
It was only 28 days. Like, really, they lost that much faith in humanity that it was still around after 28 days. I don't think they tried very hard.
I don't think so. Honestly, I don't think anybody ever made it to them from the recording. So they were getting like desperate to the point where they thought that nobody else existed.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, like, how can that be your solution? Just rape innocent women?
It's really fucked up. And, the sad thing is that, especially with soldiers, there is a lot of dark history with soldiers actually like raping women and, oh, they were called comfort women.
Oh, now I know. Yeah.
Have
I
you
definitely
heard of that?
agree about that.
Yeah, it's like really fucked up. It was in China, women were they were basically trafficked, the Chinese women, and then by Japanese men, by the Japanese army. And they were thought of as, well, they were said to be comfort women, but really they were just exactly what this movie, why these fucking soldiers got killed.
For real.
Yeah, it's really, really fucked up.
And sometimes humans, I feel, can be like a lot scarier than the actual monsters.
I'm probably going to cover this for my true crime portion connection to the movie, just because it's so similar. Like this scenario is so similar and fucked
Yeah,
up.
I know. I definitely would want to hear more about it. It is sad, and it's like it's something that a lot of people don't know about that need to know about it. Things happen to women.
Mm-hmm. And it wasn't that long ago either.
And not only that too, but what Selena does, like giving her the drugs, from
Mm-hmm.
other like survivors I've heard like that's what they would do in
Mm-hmm.
situations like if they were trafficked, they would just drug themselves not to feel, not to
Mm-hmm.
care, to be able to go through it.
Yeah.
She did that to help her, to save her mind.
Yeah, I have notes in there about that because I just like that scene was so powerful to me whenever she gives her the drugs and to help her cope. And she's like, the stupid army guy was upset that she was giving her drugs. And it's like, oh, okay, you're upset I'm giving her drugs, but you're not upset at the fact that, but you're perfectly fine with the fact that you're going to rape this small girl.
Yeah, he didn't want her to be like a zombie. That's what you're worried about.
No, you want her terrified and all these other like sick fuck things.
It is, and her doing it to try to lessen the pain.
Mm-hmm.
If she
Yeah.
can't save her, I don't. She said another quote from for it too. I don't know if you were able to catch the quote when she's giving her the pills.
She said, "This is to make you not care. This is so you don't care."
Something like that.
It was a very telling moment.
What else is telling too, that if she's giving her that so she doesn't care, maybe Selena went through that too, and that's why she knows. So, and that's probably why she was the way that she was in the beginning of the movie, because she probably went through something like that in her life.
Yeah, she could have. I know there was, when I was doing some research into this movie, there was a whole side story for Selena that they don't get into, but it has to do with her like having to kill her parents or whoever she loved and lived with, she had to kill them. And that's why she was like so quick about being able to kill whoever.
That makes sense. She went through a lot.
Then she showed so much empathy for Hannah when Hannah lost her dad. She's like, she just lost her dad. Like she was telling Jim, like, she just saw her dad die. Give her a break. I know she was like mentioning it to the soldiers as well. And then when they're at like the dinner, Hannah says they're talking about like killing the zombies, and Hannah's like, "You're talking about my dad. My dad was one of
Yeah,
those people."
that was sad. Yeah, her love for Hannah really grew through the movie. She probably
Mhm.
saw herself in Hannah, what she went through with her dad.
Yeah, and she kind of became like a mom to her. Like she was there trying to protect her as much as she could.
And I think that's what she became to in the end, when all three of them are living together.
Hmm.
that's the role that they each took on
Yeah.
in their joined family.
Yeah, they definitely play like we have Selena at the sewing machine, and then we have Hannah running around in the yard like a like a kid
Yeah.
should be. It's a really sweet moment at the end. Another theme I have in here is gender and power, which, we've talked about this with all the assault stuff that was happening, but poor women, we always get stuck in the middle of all of this.
Yeah. And I feel like that's why I think women are stronger than men when it comes to like important situations like this, especially with this virus. I feel even though they weren't infected, I feel like just being around this virus turned them into what they already were, monsters.
They were able to let any facet of civilization kind of go to the wayside, and they were able to just be their primal, disgusting selves. Gross. It's almost like a woman should be the president instead of men.
I'm saying.
It's almost like the men don't make the best choices, and they're very emotional, right? I feel like the men are so emotional in this movie. When it came to the women in this movie, it like Selena's survival depended not just on her like physical strength, but her intelligence and emotional resilience. Traits often dismissed in traditional survival narratives, but they were actually focuses in this movie.
Yes.
Which made it special too. And I think that's maybe one of those things that I just inherently picked up on and really loved about this film.
Yeah, like she never stopped fighting once, even like when they took him away and it was just them two.
Mm-hmm.
She never stopped. She didn't give in.
And it's that women instinct too, right? Like women know things, like we have like an intuition about things. And I think we're just like, I think we're just like more emotionally intelligent. But when Hannah is that one soldier, like they start hearing things are going on, and Selena's like, it's Jim. Hannah's all on drugs. And she very, like, I think one of the funniest moments, she's like, they're all dead and you're gonna die next.
The way she was saying it, she was like all cold.
Yeah, she was so calm. She's just like,
No motion.
she was a really funny high person.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, okay, we'll go over here. They're like, urgency, lady, urgency, Hannah. And she's like, I don't know. I think we're fine.
Even
Very
Andra,
funny.
she was still able to survive when she was able to think quick on her feet to get behind that mirror. There's one of the zombies is near, so what she does is she hides behind that mirror,
Uh-huh.
quick to think, oh, I get better hide.
Yeah. Whenever she's driving the car, I was actually kind of worried. I was like, is she even going to be able to drive? She's so high.
Oh, she pulled through it.
She did. She was really smart. Like the guy was in the back, but she backed the car up so that the zombie would get him. And then she went back forward.
Yeah, that was quick thinking, because when she did that, I didn't know what she was doing, why she was backing up.
And that's why they are final girls. We get two final girls and a final guy in this movie, and they're all awesome.
Motivating for him too, because he wasn't a soldier. He was a delivery guy. And
Yeah.
for him to really be able to come through, and because I didn't expect him to be like Rambo or anything, and channel his rage for the love that he has for them too and save them, resilient too.
100%. Like, I mean, even his smart thinking of climbing over the fence and then pretending like he was one of the bodies and then jumping over the fence really quick, and then he just from then on he was all instinct, and you couldn't tell the difference between him or the zombies.
Exactly.
We're kind of already, whenever we're talking about Cillian Murphy, there's like the whole primal instinct thing going on.
He's like in protect mode.
The infected are driven purely by rage, mirroring an exaggerated form of human emotion. And then Jim's final attack on the soldiers is feral and instinctual, Selena even mistakes him for one of the infected. This blurring of lines focuses the viewer to reconsider what human looks like when civility is gone. Survival becomes less about morality and more about instinct, reflecting anthropological questions about what behaviors are natural versus socially conditioned. And Boyle, the director, but he explains that as Jim runs, all the scenes were shot just like they were shot with the zombies to make that parallel. Like with the cinematography, whenever it was on the zombies, it was different than how the humans were. They like intentionally did that with him at the end to make it even more of like a parallel between them.
Yeah, like connecting them.
Hmm. They did a really good job with the cinematography in this movie.
They really did. The way that they also, like you said, where it made it a parallel. Just him coming in with Celine, where he's killing that last guy.
Hmm.
From her angle, looking at him, like you really couldn't tell if he was one of them or not.
No, he's got like his thumbs in this guy's eyeballs.
Yeah,
Like it doesn't look like something a normal human being would just go and do. Like he's killing him with his bare hands.
yeah. And that's really survival because he has nothing else to fight back with. He has to do something or they're both dead.
Yeah. We pretty much walk through the movie. The ending is like a glimmer of hope after the storm.
Yeah, like there's life now, maybe. That sign.
Yeah, I love that they make the sign doesn't say help like you would think it would say, right? It says hello.
Yeah, I was expecting it to say help, but that was interesting.
Oh, and another important thing is like Selena is like a doctor or something throughout this.
Yeah, she's handy. Like she could have been a doctor.
Yeah, she definitely worked in the medical field. Like she had mentioned it more than once. And I think that's why she had all those medications with her. But whenever Jim gets shot, she fixes him up. They like get him to a hospital or something where she can fix him. And then the next shot is like in the remote countryside cottage. Everything's bright outside. Everything looks so nice. Like she's sewing. It's just like this very picturesque moment. And they put out the word hello. It's nice because it's like so simple, the word hello, almost childlike after so much violence and loss. The fact that they're like choosing communication and peace, inviting people in still over trying to kill everyone. Very nice.
I think it also has to do with them not needing help. It's more to show like they don't need help. They want to get more people in with them or see what else is out there or like inviting, not asking.
Yeah.
They don't really need anybody. After everything they've been through, they can survive on their own just fine.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. That's a really good point. Yeah, I think this is such a powerful movie, and I'm so excited.
They really just did a good job with this movie. Like if it wasn't for this movie, I don't think we would have had the type of zombies that we have today.
Yeah.
Because this was like the first of its kind to really do something with running.
Yeah.
A lot of commentaries of like people that commented when this movie first came out. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, it's not a zombie movie if they're running." It made it so much scarier than just having them walk slowly, being mindless.
Yeah, it's way more terrifying. And the fact that like it could be any kind of bodily fluid and it as long as it touches you and gets into your body somehow, then, you're
Yeah,
dead.
yeah, that's scarier. Like blood drop in your eye.
No, yeah, the blood dropping. That was such a sad scene too. That was such a sad moment where it's like
Yeah,
just looking up.
yeah, just one little mistake.
I have a game for you before we finish up. So this is going to be a blind ranking of zombie movies. Have you ever done a blind ranking before?
I haven't.
So I'm going to give you 5 different zombie movies, and you have to place them wherever you think they would land on your list of 1 most favorite to 5 least favorite. And you can't change them afterwards. So it's going to be you're going in blind. You just start placing them wherever you think they would go. The danger with this is that you could end up with a really shitty shitty movie at number 1, or like a really
Oh
great
no.
movie at number 5.
Oh God.
So the first movie, and this is random, I'm giving you them randomly, is Zombieland.
Let me do that one as a 4.
4. Okay.
I feel like you're gonna give me some really good ones next.
Shaun of the Dead.
Let me do that one as a 3.
I like a good comedy zombie movie too.
Yeah.
I think zombie movies are good as comedies. All right, Dawn of the Dead.
Ooh. I feel like that's a really important one too. Let me do a 2. I don't know if I'm
2.
gonna regret this.
World War Z.
Oh, that one's a really good one too. And I feel like it was greatly inspired by this movie.
Yeah.
Let me do a 1.
Okay, you're going 1 with what? I mean, we've only got place 1 or 5. So now your number 5 is going to be, because it's the last one. The last one was Resident Evil.
Love Resident Evil. That would have been my number 1 right there.
That would have been your number 1.
Yeah, I would definitely not give that number 5.
Oh no. I mean, they're all good movies.
Yeah, they're all good, but I'm a Resident Evil girly, so that was my number 1 right.
In your blind ranking, you have World War Z is 1, Dawn of the Dead is number 2, number 3 is Shaun of the Dead, number 4 is Zombieland, and then we've got number 5 at Resident Evil.
Yeah, I would totally change all those.
You would change all of them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was fine.
Thank you so much for being on the podcast. And I love everything that you do. And I really appreciate your time and you doing this with me.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for this opportunity. And I can't wait to keep hearing everything you do.
Well, thank you. You're so sweet. I hope that I run into you at a convention sometime or something. That'd be great. Do you ever leave California for conventions, or it's like,
yeah,
which ones do you go to?
I usually go to the ones in New York. The next one I was supposed to do is Anime NYC.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Because women mean a future.
Where is it, Jim?
We have to go.
Jim!
No, it's fine. Come on.
Now it's time for the true horrors of it all. Another aspect of rendering the zombie movie more contemporary was the idea that the virus didn't necessarily affect people physically. It doesn't kill them as in traditional zombie movies, but psychologically. Both Alex Garland and Danny Boyle felt that the idea that the virus renders people zombie-like due to uncontrollable rage was a good metaphor for the contemporary phenomena of social rage, such as road rage, air rage, hospital rage, etc. They liked the idea that the virus simply amplifies something already in each and every man and woman, rather than turning them into something entirely other, as in the traditional route in zombie movies. Though the film has scenes of zombies attacking people by biting and maiming them, ironically, the most gruesome scene in the entire film is Jim killing the would-be rapist soldier by beating him and gouging his eyes out. In 28 Days Later, the horror isn't just the rage virus. It's how systems and individuals exploit the vulnerable, particularly women's bodies, for perceived survival or control. The whole scenario with soldiers using women isn't something new. Sickeningly, this connects to the historical reality of comfort women, who were subjected to systematic sexual slavery by the Japanese Imperial Army during World War II. Though one is a fictional zombie horror, and the other a deeply real atrocity, both grapple with themes of systematic violence, bodily autonomy, and the dehumanization of women in times of crisis. In 28 Days Later, one of the most disturbing scenes is when Major West reveals his plan to repopulate after the apocalypse by forcibly offering two women, Selena and Hannah, to his soldiers. This is a clear depiction of sexual violence as strategy, eerily echoing the real-world system of comfort women, where girls and women were forced into sexual slavery by the Japanese military. In both narratives, women's bodies are treated not as human, but as property, to be used for morale, control, and power. The soldiers justify horrific actions under the guise of restoring order, a twisted mirror of how wartime systems have historically rationalized exploitation and brutality in the name of national interest or morale. Comfort women were trafficked and abused by state-run military operations, treated as tools, not people. The military, as an institution, became a source of terror, not protection, in both the film and real-life history. In 28 Days Later, the infected aren't the only monsters. The breakdown of civil society reveals how easily humans justify cruelty when rules collapse. Comfort women were often abandoned by their own countries and left with no justice post-war. The world moved on. They didn't. Whether in fiction or history, vulnerable women are often sacrificed and forgotten in the name of survival or order. Despite it all, 28 Days Later centers on human connection. Selena chooses to protect Hannah, and they escape together. Comfort women survivors have also fought back through testimony, art, protest, and telling their truth. Both reflect the strength of women who were meant to be erased. Let's end on a high note. It's time for my weekly horror update. 28 Years Later will be in theaters on Friday, June 20th. I'm very excited for that, if you can't tell by listening to this episode. Director Danny Boyle confirms Cillian Murphy will appear in 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. It was previously said that he wouldn't be in it, and I'm very happy that they lied. Happy Pride Month! This is your reminder that horror has queer roots, with James Whale, the director of Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein, as openly gay at a time when it was incredibly rare in Hollywood. Joining the gay queer horror director list is Clive Barker with Hellraiser, Don Mancini, who was the director of Chucky, and Carter Smith, who was the director of The Ruins. I've actually covered all three of these directors in my episodes. There are also many, many others in the horror community, whether their role is the director, the producer, the actor, or special effects, makeup, all those things. We as a community are queer. If you didn't know, queer, the definition of queer is to be weird. And if you're in the horror community, you're just a little weird, just a little bit. So that means that we embrace the queer, we embrace the weird. And happy Pride Month. On Sunday, June 15th, I'll be selling goth alternative clothing and horror-related items at the Florida Market of the Beast. I am also hosting a photo booth of Friday the 13th with a paid actor playing Jason Voorhees for your pictures. This will be a super fun event with lots to offer from local alternative vendors in Florida. On Tuesday, June 17th, I will have my monthly trivia event. It's based on the Friday the 13th franchise, so start binging those movies now, because I will have questions from all 12 of those movies. There are prizes for the top 3 teams and a costume contest at the end of the night. Doors open at 7 p.m. at Conduit in Orlando, Florida. If you have a movie suggestion that could fit into my category of the month, I will watch those movies and give them a rating on my Scream scale. You can email me at screamqueenpodcaster@gmail.com, and I will shout you out for participating and supporting the podcast. Podcast. This is a weekly podcast with new episodes out every Thursday. All the research, writing, and audio is done by yours truly. This is a one-woman show, and I am doing my very best. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen. It really means a lot. The person that gave me a 1-star review on Apple Podcast, fuck you, first of all. And then anyone who is actually supporting me and actually enjoys what I do, please go to Apple Podcast and give me a review so we can kind of like shout down that fucking asshole loser for giving me a 1-star review, because there's no need. And there wasn't even like a comment or anything. It was just like giving me 1 star. So fuck off. I might not be everyone's cup of tea, but just people be nice to each other. Whatever. If you want to give me a 4-star review, I can't tell you what to review me as. If you want to give me some constructive feedback, I am more than happy to not have all 5-star reviews. But if you feel the need to just be an asshole and go on there and try to bash me, then fuck you. You can find me on Instagram at Scream Queen Podcast, or Blue Sky at Scream Queen Podcast, TikTok at Scream Queen Podcast, and there's a link tree that will take you to my YouTube and Facebook page as well. Remember, even in the wake of a collapsed civilization, choosing kindness is survival.
Hehehe